Nauseum here about all these records, just, stair-step gains, no major rallies to speak of. Can we keep that kind of incremental gains going into the new year? What do you think?
I don't think so. And I think you look at the market today and it's as good as it gets. Everyone's assuming we have a trade deal. Everyone's assuming growth is going to keep going. I do see growth keeping on going, but we're going to see a slowdown. We're going to see a pullback. I think the market's just too confident.
Lamar, what do you think?
I agree with the confidence. I think right now it seems like everything's, looks great. And I think growth is going to continue. And I do think there will be a resolution to the trade situation. That said, I think we're going to start to have some real volatility, which is something that we haven't had to deal with for a while. So I think that's going to be the key to look for in 2020, especially as the election rhetoric picks up.
And Lamar, as you watch the election and perhaps other factors driving volatility, where do you think there's an opportunity? I understand you've been sitting on a lot of cash. Where are you hoping to put that cash next year?
Well, we're going to kind of take the opportunities as they come along. But, areas where we have seen some opportunities have really been healthcare and semiconductors. That's where some opportunities have been. But it tends to be, especially in an election year, you get, whether it's Medicare for all or whatever the trend in the conversations are, that's where you start to see certain names either rise and then it's time to trim back, or you see certain things get beat up, which is what we saw with the Medicare for all conversations, and that's why we moved into a company called eHealth.
And Brad, what opportunities do you see? Do you think some of these tech valuations are just going to be too high next year?
I think that's just it. I think not all trees grow to the sky. When you look at growth, everyone's been buying growth. Everyone's been chasing growth, and that's great. But at the same time, the relative valuations of value stocks are at an almost all-time low on a relative basis. It simply makes too much sense. And we're already starting to see value stocks and value sectors start to outperform. I mean, we've seen utilities come through pretty well. We see consumer staples. That's where I think the big story is going to be next year.
Brad, what about inflation? I know we've talked, that the Federal Reserve's just itching to get this inflation rate back to 2%, to no avail at this point. But wages are still going up right now. They're expected to go even higher next year, especially at the minimum wage level. Oil prices have suddenly come back again, and they're expected to continue higher as OPEC cuts rates. Are we going to be talking about inflation in a different way next year, do you think?
I don't think so. We're going to see inflation go up, but that's actually what we want. If we see inflation go from 1.5 to maybe 2.5, the Fed has already said they're going to let it run hot a little bit. The Fed has already said they're going to keep backing off. It may go up, but it's not going to change the fundamentals. It's not going to change the story.
What do you think, Lamar?
I think the Fed's trying to get some more inflation, and it is ironic. If we hear a lot of conversations about minimum wage increasing, I think then you're going to have some inflation risk on the higher side. But so far, I think the Fed really hasn't been able to control things on that front.